So last week, I had a couple of sales calls with a couple of people who were both referred into me, and they both went the same way. So keeping in mind, these are individuals who had a conversation with someone else. That someone else said, oh my gosh, you need to talk to Stephanie. And they were referred to me. We communicated back and forth via email or text. We set up a time to talk. And as soon as I got on the phone with both of them, the conversation went pretty much the same way. They started off by giving me a list of reasons why they didn't really need to be having this conversation with me. And they had everything figured out, and they had this, and they didn't really work with people like me, and they didn't really do this, and they had this thing going on, and they had this. Super short, clipped answers, running me over, giving me all the reasons why this is, they weren't straight up saying this is a waste of time, but they were giving me all the reasons why, there was really no reason for us to be having a conversation. By the end of the phone call, though, both of them were raving, and they were so excited, they were trying to get me on the phone to talk to their CEO that same week. So what the heck? Because I know I'm not the only person who has been in that situation where you've gotten on the phone with someone or you've shown up for a sales appointment and that person has like the iron bars of, I don't want to talk to you up. And so what on earth happened inside that, 15, 20-minute phone conversation to take them from screw you to, oh my God, you're the most amazing person I've met and we really need to have a conversation. And you need to talk to my CEO and we need to go further. And yes, this is going to be awesome. So a couple of things. I want to talk about first the common mistakes, because when that happens, when most salespeople get on the phone, they lose the sale at that point for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, they start checking out. So the person you're talking to has it all figured out. You're not hearing any openings. You're hearing a closed, like they're like, I've got this, I'm good, leave me alone, right? So once that starts happening, most sales reps start checking out. They start going and they're looking for the easy sale. So they start to kind of try and find a way to get off the phone and move on to the next conversation as quickly as possible. Because most salespeople, it's just a numbers game. And to some extent, sales is a numbers game. But there's also the element that it is a psychology game. And so just relying on the numbers and trying to go for the easy sales means you will miss out on a lot of the most fulfilling sales. So that was the first thing. That's the first thing most sales reps will do. They'll check out. Then the other issue is that sales reps get into this situation and they've got their prepared agenda, right? And they don't know what else to do. So they just start following their prepared agenda. They just start going into what they expected to go into. And all it does is it drives a wedge further in between. Because this person's saying, I don't need you. And you're responding by saying, well, let me show you what I can do for you anyhow. It's like speaking Chinese and like Dutch. It's not going to work. You're not speaking the same language. You're not going to connect. So instead, what I did that transformed that conversation and took these guys from kind of the, talk to the hand to, oh my gosh, we need to get you on the phone with our CEO like now. And by the way, these weren't exactly small companies. Like this person taking me straight to the CEO, kind of a big deal. These are places with multiple locations, doing very large business, very large number of employees. So to go from no to, oh my gosh, yes, right? The first thing I did was I just started to listen. And I listened to what they were saying, but more importantly, I was listening to what they were not saying. So first and foremost, even though both of them were super resistant, neither one of them straight up told me, get off the phone, I don't want to be talking to you. Now, both of them said stuff like, we only do this type of thing in-house. We don't usually talk to people like you. We don't do this. One of them even said, I hate marketing. I don't even like talking about marketing. I was like, dude, I can tell because, you're really upset at this point. But what I started to listen to is, what are they saying? Yes. Okay, I want to hear that they're saying they think they got this figured out and that they only do this type of thing in-house and that they don't typically, work with outside vendors for this and that they, they have wasted all this money on outside vendors. Both of them told me horror stories of wasting gobs of money on outside vendors, right? So I listened and I listened to what they were saying, but what I started to hear was, I'm scared you're going to take advantage of me to a little bit, right? Not necessarily scared, but I'm apprehensive. I don't want you to take advantage of me. I don't want to be taken. No one wants to be taken advantage of. Come on. So that's what I start. And I said, okay, so what I need to do instead is show them how I care about them. And this was all subconscious, by the way. This isn't like I was sitting here and in my brain, I'm going, oh yeah, right? So what I did was I started asking questions. I started just saying, okay, that's great. What did you do here? Wow, I empathized. You know, that must have been really frustrating. I've been in similar situations to that. Frankly, you know, I'll be honest with you. I've sold advertising and marketing, and there are a lot of scammers out there. I get it. And you know, the frustrating thing is that people like you who are busy running your business, you don't have time to be checking whether or not someone is trying to scam you. You don't have all the knowledge. If you had the knowledge, you'd do it yourself. And that was when the guy was like, yeah, I know, I hate marketing, right? So I just started asking questions. I just started empathizing with them and listening. And then I made sure that whenever they made comments that were on the right track, that I complimented that. That I said, you know what, that's actually smart of you. Hey, I appreciate the fact that, one, you took my call even though you aren't really interested, it sounds like. But two, that you've been really careful. You've taken these chances before. It sucks that it's backfired on you. That, you know, I can't say anything else about that, but I really appreciate the fact that you're staying open-minded. That says a lot about you. And so I gave them opportunities to realize that I was listening and that I was resonating with them. The other thing I did was I gave them an out. So with each of them, I said, well, you know what, in all honesty, you know, if you want to, you can just go do this, and that's fine by me. Here are some of the problems you might run into. So watch out for these. And by the way, if you want, I can help you put together a plan to make sure that these don't end up really tripping you up. And that was what got both of them, was they had the opportunity to go do it on their own. They didn't need me. And the reality is, they didn't need me. They don't need me. But I think it'll make a better relationship, a better partnership, and we'll get a lot further if we do work together. And so by showing them, by slowing things down, by abandoning my prepared agenda and just listening, by staying engaged in that conversation, by giving them an out, but also an option to work with me, what happened was that it helped them break down their barriers and their guard. And everything that they were sitting here saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to be taken advantage of, it helped show I'm not here to take advantage of you. And so I was able to get to have a real conversation with both of these individuals and give them the tools that they needed to be the expert in their organization when they went to go talk to someone else about working with me. The reality is, at the end of the day, I have built habits in my brain that have helped me step back from the ledge. Jeb Blunt talks about this a lot. He talks about the fact that when someone gives us an objection or they start resisting, we end up on a ledge. And basically what happens is our brain triggers the fight or flight nerves and all of the juices. And so we start to go into this like, right? We start panicking. And I've taken a lot of time over the years to realize that when those triggers start happening, I just need to sit back, oftentimes actually lean back in the chair, relax, take a moment, and just try and understand where the other individual is coming from. And that goes a very, very long ways to take your no's to hell yes.